All right, welcome to your custom deep dive. You ready to jump in?
Let's do it.
You sent in some really cool stuff about how AI is changing research and specifically OpenAI's deep research feature.
Oh,
This is different from what I've seen, at least.
hopefully.
It's not just another chatbot, right?
Yeah.
It's AI that can actually plan research strategies.
Mm-hmm.
It can analyze those complex documents you sent and even use coding tools.
Right.
It's like having, I don't know, like a superpowered research assistant. That's
Yeah.
pretty much what it is.
Yeah.
And we've got our AI expert here with us, ready to break down the most fascinating parts of all the material you sent.
Absolutely.
You ready to see AI tackling tasks that used to take humans hours, if not days, to complete?
I'm ready.
Let's dive in.
So one of the things that's really interesting about deep research
Yeah.
is that it goes beyond just finding information.
Oh, okay.
It actually tries to understand it.
Wow.
Like those research papers you sent. Deep research can synthesize the key points.
Mm-hmm.
It can even draw connections between different sources.
Really?
Almost like, a human expert would.
Okay, so it's not just spitting out facts, it's actually making sense of them?
Right.
That's pretty impressive. How does it even work, though? I mean, it can't literally think like a human, right?
No, not in the way that we think, but it mimics some of the key processes.
Okay.
Like in the material you sent in, it mentions this multi-step process deep research uses.
Yeah.
Almost like, a human expert would when they're planning a research strategy.
Yeah, okay.
So first it breaks down the question.
Mm-hmm.
Then it figures out what information it needs.
Okay.
Then it uses all of its tools.
Right.
Web searches, document analysis, even coding to pull it all together.
So it's like it's creating its own research roadmap.
It is.
Wow. You sent in some information about something called Humanity's Last Exam
Yes,
and something called GAIA. Those sound pretty intense.
they are.
Can you tell us what those are and how did deep research do on them?
So Humanity's Last Exam is basically a massive test.
Okay.
It's got over 3,000 expert-level questions covering tons of different subjects.
Like what?
Linguistics, rocket science, the classics even.
Wow.
They throw it at AI to see how well it can reason and apply knowledge.
Okay, so like ultimate AI pop quiz.
Pretty much.
How'd it do?
It scored a 26.6%.
Out of...
Well, I mean, that might not sound like much, but it's a huge jump from previous models,
Oh, okay.
especially in areas like chemistry and the humanities.
Wow.
What's even more impressive is that deep research actually topped the leaderboard on GAIA.
Okay.
GIA is another benchmark.
Mhm.
This one's designed to test real-world problem solving.
Oh.
So it's showing us that this AI can reason, it can use tools, and navigate the web effectively.
26.6% on Humanity's Last Exam.
Yeah,
That's blowing my mind a little bit.
I know.
Those questions are designed to be really difficult, even for human experts.
Right. What does that tell us about how this AI is different from previous models?
Well, it tells us that this AI is going beyond simply knowing facts.
Okay.
It's actually starting to demonstrate a deeper understanding of the concepts
Huh.
and how to apply them.
Okay.
And that's where things get really interesting.
All right, I'm hooked. Let's get real, though, right?
Okay.
All those tests are impressive.
Uh-huh.
But how does this actually help people in everyday life?
Can you give me an example of how deep research could be used, like for something practical?
Definitely. So one of the sources you sent in described how someone used deep research to find a specific episode of the TV show Counterpart.
Hold up. It can do that.
It can.
That sounds insanely useful. How to
Mhm.
figure that out?
So they just remembered a few plot points from the episode,
Mhm.
but they couldn't remember the title or even what season it was in.
Yeah.
Deep research was able to cross-reference those plot points with online episode summaries
Wow.
and pinpoint the exact episode they were looking for.
Which was?
Season 1, Episode 4. Both sides now.
That's amazing.
And get this, it went a step further.
Okay, now I have to know. What else did it do?
So there was another example where someone was planning a snowboarding trip to Hokkaido, Japan,
Okay.
and they wanted help choosing the perfect board.
That's relatable. Choosing the right board can be tough. There's a lot of options out there.
It is. So they gave deep research a few details like skill level, budget, and some preferences they had for, board design.
Uh-huh.
And the AI went to work.
I'm guessing it didn't just recommend the first snowboard it found online.
No, it
Mm.
considered their preferences and budget,
Yeah.
but it also looked at the specific snow conditions in Hokkaido.
Hold on. It factored in the snow conditions in Hokkaido. That's next level. I mean, recommending a snowboard based on, like, basic preferences, that's one thing.
Right.
Taking into account the actual environment,
Right.
that's some next level stuff. That's something a human expert would do.
It is. And that's what makes deep research so different.
Yeah. Sure.
It's not just matching keywords.
Yeah.
It's understanding the context of the request and then applying that knowledge to find the absolute best solution.
Okay, you officially blew my mind with that one. But I know you sent in some research-heavy stuff.
I did.
Like scientific papers.
Mm-hmm.
Deep research can handle those too, right?
Oh, yeah.
Can it actually make sense of that kind of complex scientific information?
You give me a good example of that. Deep research was asked to create a report on gene therapies for hemophilia.
Yeah, that's no joke. There's a lot of intricate science involved in that.
There is, and it's gotten a lot of attention recently.
Yeah.
Deep research was able to identify all 3 of the currently approved gene therapies in the U.S.
Wait, it got all 3?
It did. Hemgenix, Roctavian, and Bequez.
Wow. Did it just list them out, or did it go deeper?
It went way deeper.
Okay.
So it gave detailed descriptions of each therapy, including the developer company, and the year it was approved by the FDA.
Wow.
And then it broke down the specific viral vector technology used in each one.
Okay, now that's where I start to get lost.
Yeah.
Viral vectors. What does that even mean in the context of gene therapy?
Okay, so imagine a tiny delivery truck that can carry a gene into a cell.
Uh-huh.
That's basically what a viral vector does.
Okay.
And deep research explained this concept in a way that was both accurate and easy to understand.
Yeah.
Highlighting, the different types of viral vectors used.
So it's not just like spitting out jargon, it's actually explaining these really complex concepts.
It is.
That's incredibly valuable, especially for someone like me who doesn't have, a background in genetics.
Right. It was pulling information from FDA press releases, scientific journals, even company websites.
Wow.
Really showing that it can handle some dense and technical content.
That's wild. So it can analyze scientific papers, but can it actually do anything with that information beyond just, summarizing it? Like, could it help researchers make new discoveries?
That's where things get really exciting.
Okay.
You send in some information about iPSC research.
Yeah, okay.
Which stands for Induced Pluripotent Stem Cells.
iPSCs.
Right.
These are, they're a big deal in regenerative medicine, right?
They are.
Because they have the potential to, treat all sorts of diseases.
Right. They're like blank slate cells.
Yeah.
They can be turned into any type of cell in the body.
Yeah, okay.
But the challenge is figuring out how to control that transformation process efficiently and safely.
Right.
And that's where something called OSKM protein engineering comes in.
OSKM protein engineering.
Yes.
All right. You lost me a little there. What is that exactly?
So scientists are trying to tweak these special proteins that control how iPSCs are made.
Okay.
And by making small changes to these proteins, they can make the process more efficient and less risky.
Okay, that makes sense. So where does deep research fit into all of this?
Well, you asked if it could help with making new discoveries, right?
Yeah.
You gave me a study where deep research was given the task of summarizing recent advances in this field in OSKM protein engineering.
Okay.
And it did just that.
Wow.
Analyzed a bunch of scientific papers, and it identified the most common protein modifications being explored.
Okay.
What's even more impressive is that it was able to explain how those modifications affect the efficiency and the safety of iPSC generation.
So it's not just pulling out random facts from these papers, it's actually understanding the connections between them and how these modifications work on like a deeper level.
Right.
That's pretty incredible.
And get this, it was even able to give specific examples of successful modifications.
Like what?
Like adding certain viral elements or tweaking specific regions of a protein called C-MYAC.
Wow, it's getting into the like nitty-gritty details.
It is.
This is starting to feel like deep research could actually contribute to scientific breakthroughs.
Yeah.
I mean, if it can analyze research papers and like connect the dots like this, it could save scientists tons of time.
Right.
And maybe even lead to new discoveries.
Absolutely.
That's really cool. We're just scratching the surface here of what deep research can do.
We are.
I mean, all this is great, but before we get too carried away with the science-y stuff, you mentioned that deep research can even help with something that might seem a little less, I don't know, sci-fi
Right.
interface design.
It can.
Really?
You sent in some sources about the role of icons in interface design.
Oh, yeah. I think we've all had that experience of, staring at an icon, having no clue what it's supposed to represent. Like
Absolutely.
little visual puzzle that nobody gave you the instructions for.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of debate about whether or not icons should always be accompanied by text labels.
There is.
So you gave Deep Research the task of, analyzing this whole debate, right?
I did.
Okay, so what did it have to say about icons? Did it pick a side?
What's interesting is it didn't just give like a yes or no answer.
Oh, okay.
It went depth, considered all the different factors that go into good interface design.
Yeah.
Like, it looked at different user demographics,
Okay, like what?
like novice versus expert users, age, cognitive abilities. Even looked at cultural differences in how people interpret icons.
Wow, it was really taking a holistic approach, like a real design expert would.
It did.
Did it come to any conclusions?
It concluded that while icons can make an interface more visually appealing,
Yeah.
using text labels alongside them makes things a lot clearer
Okay.
and easier to use for, a wider range of people.
So basically it's saying a little text can go a long way,
It can.
especially for people who might not be familiar with all the, fancy iconography.
Right. And this just goes to show how deep research is more than just a fact-finding machine.
Okay.
It can analyze a complex issue, consider different perspectives, and then come up with like a nuanced conclusion.
Wow.
That takes everything into account.
This whole deep dive is already blowing my mind.
It is cool stuff.
We've seen deep research analyze complex scientific papers,
Yeah.
help people choose the perfect snowboard,
Right.
even weigh in on the best practices for interface design. It's clear that this technology can do so much more than I ever imagined.
It can.
We're just getting started.
We are.
But before we move on, I remember you mentioning deep research tackled the question of retirement age in the NFL.
Yes.
That one caught my eye because it seems like such a simple question,
Yeah.
but it's actually really complex.
It is. The average NFL career can vary so much.
Yeah.
Depending on, what position you play, injuries, even just personal choices.
Right. So it's not like you can just look up one number
Right.
and call it a day.
No.
How did deep research approach this?
Well, what's interesting is it didn't just give a single average. It actually acknowledged those complexities that you just mentioned
Okay.
and provided a more nuanced analysis.
Okay. I'm intrigued. What kind of nuance are we talking about here?
Well, for instance, it explained that, certain positions, like kickers,
Yeah,
tend to have longer careers than others
that makes sense.
because there's less risk of physical impact.
Right.
Kickers aren't getting tackled on every play.
Exactly. Did it give any examples?
It did. It cited examples of the oldest active players at different positions
Wow.
to further illustrate the trends.
So again, it's not just about giving like a simple answer.
Right.
It's about providing context,
Mm,
explaining the why behind the numbers.
exact.
It's like, having a conversation with a sports analyst who
Right.
really knows their stuff.
Right. And that's what makes deep research so compelling.
Okay.
It's not just giving you information.
Yeah.
It's helping you understand it on a deeper level.
Wow, I'm already starting to see the world of research in a whole new light thanks to this deep dive. We're just getting started. There's so much more to explore. I'm dying to hear about some of the limitations and future potential of deep research. You ready to take this conversation to the next level?
I'm ready. Yeah, things are about to get really fascinating as we look into the future of this AI-powered research.
Okay, before we get too lost in the possibilities, you mentioned limitations earlier.
Yeah.
No AI is perfect, right?
Yeah.
What are some of the things that that deep research is still struggling with?
Well, like any technology, it has its growing pains.
Uh-huh.
One of the things that your sources highlighted was the potential for hallucinations.
Hallucinations. That sounds a little trippy for an AI.
It does.
What does that actually mean?
It means that deep research can sometimes make up facts
Oh.
or present information that isn't totally accurate.
Okay.
It's still, learning to distinguish between what's real and what's not.
Oh, so it's not always 100% reliable.
Not always, no.
Okay. So we can't just take everything it says as like gospel truth.
No, it's important to remember that deep research is a tool.
Hmm.
And like any tool, it needs to be used thoughtfully and critically.
Okay.
You always want to double check the information it provides.
Yeah.
Especially when you're making, important decisions.
Right, of course.
Yeah.
It's not about like replacing human researchers. It's
Yeah.
more about giving them this powerful tool to work with.
Exactly. It's like that superpowered research assistant.
Yeah.
It can
Yeah.
save us time and effort,
Uh-huh.
but human oversight is still really crucial.
Okay.
We need to be the ones asking the right questions,
Yeah.
interpreting the results,
Mm.
making those final calls.
Right. Makes sense. Are there any other limitations we should be aware of aside from the the occasional AI hallucination?
Well, another area where deep research is still being refined is what's called confidence calibration.
Confidence calibration. Okay, now you're just using big words to make me feel dumb.
No,
Break that down for me.
it basically means that sometimes deep research might present information with a very high level of certainty,
Okay.
even when the evidence is actually, more ambiguous.
Yeah.
It's still learning to accurately express uncertainty.
So it's like that friend who's always super sure of themselves,
Yeah.
even when they're totally wrong.
Exactly.
You kind of have to take what they say with a grain of salt.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
And just like with that friend, it's good to,
Yeah.
be a little skeptical
Okay.
of deep research's pronouncements.
Yeah.
Always question it.
Always double check.
Double check.
Got it. Skepticism is key when you're, dealing with an AI that's still learning the ropes.
Right.
Speaking of learning, you mentioned that this technology is pretty compute intensive.
Yeah.
Does that mean it takes forever to get results?
Well, speed is definitely an area where there's room for improvement.
Okay.
The more complex the research task, the longer deep research might take to crunch the numbers.
Right. So patience is a virtue when you're working with this AI. But I mean, I'm guessing the researchers at OpenAI are working on making it faster, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
They're constantly optimizing the technology,
Mm-hmm.
and I think we can expect to see some significant speed improvements
Okay.
as it continues to evolve.
Good. Good to hear. So to sum it up,
Yeah.
deep research, it's got a few limitations, but it sounds like those are being actively addressed. It's, it's a work in progress.
Uh-huh.
But the progress so far is it's pretty mind-blowing.
It is.
I completely agree. And when you consider the future potential
Okay.
of this technology, things get even more exciting.
Okay, now you're talking my language.
Mm.
Let's dive into that future. Where do you see deep research heading in the next few years? What kind of impact could it have, on the world? Well, one area where I see huge potential is in personalized learning.
Okay.
Imagine an AI tutor
Mm-hmm.
that can adapt to your specific needs, your, learning style and pace.
Whoa, a personalized AI tutor. That
Mm.
sounds amazing. Sign me up.
Right. Deep research could analyze your existing knowledge,
Yeah.
figure out where the gaps are,
Mm-hmm.
and then create custom learning materials that are both, engaging and effective.
That would be a game changer for education.
It would.
No more one-size-fits-all textbooks or lectures.
Right.
Everyone could learn at their own pace,
Ah.
focusing on the areas where they need the most help.
Exactly. And it goes beyond traditional education, too.
Okay.
Deep research could revolutionize professional development,
Yeah.
help people stay up to date
Okay.
in their field, acquire new skills, even explore different career paths.
It's like having like a personal career coach.
Yeah.
That's always available and knows exactly what you need to learn to succeed.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
And let's not forget about the impact on scientific research itself.
Yeah. Okay.
Deep research could accelerate breakthroughs,
Mm.
help scientists analyze those massive data sets, identify patterns,
Okay.
generate new hypotheses.
So it's not just about making research more efficient.
You're right.
It's about pushing the boundaries of knowledge,
Yeah.
opening up entirely new avenues of inquiry.
Exactly. It's about amplifying human ingenuity,
Uh-huh.
pushing the limits of what's possible.
All this talk about deep research, analyzing data and generating hypotheses, it makes me wonder, can AI actually be creative?
That is a fascinating question.
I mean, that's something we usually associate with, human intelligence, right?
Right.
But with deep research, I mean, are we starting to see AI exhibit behaviors that are actually creative?
Yeah, I think, we're starting to see some surprisingly creative things.
Like?
One of the sources you sent in mentioned how deep research can be used to generate new product ideas,
Oh, wow.
come up with creative solutions to complex problems,
Okay.
even explore new artistic styles.
Wait, hold on. So we're talking AI-generated inventions,
Yeah.
art,
Yeah.
problem solving. That sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie.
It does.
I mean, how's it doing that?
Well, it all comes back to that ability to analyze trends,
Yeah.
to identify patterns,
Mm-hmm.
and to make those connections that we might miss.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So it's not about replacing human creativity.
Uh-huh.
It's about uh, amplifying it,
Okay.
providing us with the tools and the insights to spark our imaginations.
Yeah. So it's like a creative collaborator. It's
Yes.
like a partner in the process of innovation.
Yes.
That's really cool.
And it can help us break free of those, our usual ways of thinking.
Yeah.
Explore new possibilities.
This is all so incredible.
Yeah.
It's clear that deep research has the potential to revolutionize the way we learn and the way we work,
Uh-huh.
even the way we think.
Right.
Before we get too carried away with with all this potential,
Okay.
let's bring it back down to earth for a second.
Okay.
One of the things I keep coming back to is this potential for misuse.
Yeah.
I mean, this technology is so powerful.
It is.
What's to stop someone from using it for, harmful purposes?
Well, that's a valid concern.
Yeah.
And it's something that OpenAI is very aware of.
Okay.
They're taking a very cautious approach
Mm.
to rolling this technology out,
Okay.
focusing on safety and gathering feedback
Yeah.
to make sure that it's being used responsibly.
That's good to hear. It sounds like they're really trying to think through,
Yes.
all the potential consequences
Uh-huh.
before just releasing this out into the wild.
Absolutely.
Are they doing anything specific to try to, I don't know, mitigate those risks?
Yeah, so they're starting with a limited release,
Oh, okay.
working with pro users,
Yeah.
getting their input
Okay.
before making it more widely available.
So they're being very deliberate about, who gets access,
Yeah.
how it's being used. Okay. That makes me feel better.
It should. Responsible development is crucial when you're dealing with AI that has this much potential.
Okay, I feel like we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
We've talked about, the limitations, the possibilities, even the ethical considerations.
Right.
It's clear that deep research is more than just, some cool new tool. It's a force that could fundamentally change the world.
I agree. And it's up to us to guide that change.
Yeah.
To make sure AI is being used, for good and that its benefits are shared by everyone.
Well said. I'm actually really excited to hear about how this technology is already being used in different fields.
I know you sent in some real-world examples.
I did. You ready to jump into those?
I'm ready.
So we've talked about the potential, but how is it actually being used right now?
Oh, people are doing some amazing things.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You sent in some really interesting examples.
I did.
Did you know that marketing teams are using deep research to analyze consumer trends?
Oh, that's interesting. That makes sense, though. Marketing is all about understanding what people want, right?
It is. And how to reach them.
Right.
And deep research can sift through, mountains of data.
Okay.
Social media conversations, product reviews, even search engine queries,
Wow.
all to identify emerging trends.
So instead of relying on, gut feeling or limited surveys,
Right.
they can get a much more accurate picture of what consumers are thinking and feeling.
Exactly. It's like having a whole team of, market researchers working around the clock,
Yeah.
but powered by AI.
Okay. That's pretty cool. But I'm guessing marketing isn't the only industry that's, jumping on the deep research bandwagon.
No. Financial analysts are using it too.
Oh, okay. For what?
Analyzing market data, identifying investment opportunities, and assessing risk.
Ah, the world of finance, always looking for an edge. But, I mean, aren't financial analysts already pretty good at crunching numbers? What does deep research give them that they don't already have?
Well, it's not about replacing that human expertise.
Okay.
It's about amplifying it. Deep research can process vast amounts of financial data in a fraction of the time that it would take a human.
Wow.
It can spot patterns and trends that might be easily missed by even, the sharpest analysts.
So it's like giving them a superpowered set of eyes
Yeah,
that can just scan the entire market
Right.
and highlight the most promising opportunities.
exactly. It frees them up to focus on the strategic thinking and decision-making
Right.
that really requires that human touch.
Okay, I see how deep research can, shake things up in marketing and finance. What about something a little closer to home?
Yeah.
Like healthcare.
Yeah.
You mentioned earlier that it could revolutionize how we treat diseases.
Right. You sent me some examples of deep research being used to analyze medical records,
Mm-hmm.
identify potential diagnoses,
Okay.
even assist with treatment planning.
Whoa, 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 hold on. AI doctors, is that what we're talking about here?
No, no, no. Think of it more as a powerful tool
Okay.
that can help doctors make better decisions.
Okay.
Deep research can analyze a patient's entire medical history,
Hmm.
their current symptoms, even the latest research findings,
Right.
to provide, doctors with a more complete picture of their situation.
So it's like having like a medical consultant
Yeah.
that's instantly up to date on all the latest research and
Right.
can cross-reference that knowledge with the patient's, specific case.
Exactly.
That's really cool.
It lets doctors focus on what they do best, which is, interacting with patients,
Right.
understanding their individual needs,
Mhm.
and ultimately making the best decisions for their care.
So it's not about replacing doctors.
Mhm.
It's about supporting them with this,
Right.
cutting edge information and analysis.
Exactly.
Mm.
And it goes beyond diagnosis and treatment.
Okay.
Deep research can also be used to analyze clinical trial data,
Yeah,
which could help identify new drug candidates more efficiently.
that could be huge.
Could. Streamlining the drug discovery process
Yeah.
could lead to new treatments for, all sorts of diseases.
Wow. And I mean, deep research could even be used to personalize treatment plans
Yes.
based on a patient's genetic profile.
Yes. Huh.
Wow. Personalized medicine tailored to your unique DNA.
It is pretty cool.
That sounds like something straight out of, a sci-fi novel, but it's happening right now.
It's happening. These are just a few examples of
Yeah.
how deep research is being used across different industries.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll see even more creative and impactful applications as the technology continues to evolve.
I'm sure we will. This is all so mind-blowing. I feel like we've only scratched the surface of what's possible. But before we wrap up this incredible deep dive,
Yeah.
I know you have a final thought to leave our listener with.
Yes, I do.
Something to ponder as they continue to explore this fascinating topic.
We've seen how deep research has the power to accelerate research,
Uh-huh.
enhance decision-making, even boost creativity.
Yeah.
But it also raises some pretty important questions for the future.
Okay, hit me with those big questions.
What happens to the future of learning
Yeah,
when AI can, process information at this speed and depth?
that's a great question.
How do we make sure that critical thinking doesn't take a back seat
Yeah,
when we have an AI that can seemingly, do the research for us?
right.
And most importantly, how do we make sure that this powerful technology is used ethically and for the benefit of all humanity?
Those are some seriously thought-provoking questions. And honestly, I don't think there are any easy answers, but one thing is clear. AI is here to stay,
It is.
and it's going to have a profound impact on our world.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's up to all of us to shape that impact.
Yeah.
To make sure it's, it's guided in a direction that benefits humanity,
Mm-hmm.
that helps us create a better future.
Well said. This deep dive has been an incredible journey, and I hope it's inspired you to learn more about this fascinating topic. Remember, this was a deep dive tailored specifically for you, our listener, based on the incredible sources you provided. So keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep diving deep.
Absolutely.
This has been The Deep Dive. We'll see you next time.